Good evening. The 44th meeting of the 72nd term of the Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Please turn off all cell phones or put them on vibrate. Tonight's invocation will be provided by Reverend Brian F. Lanane, President of Loyola University of Maryland. And following that, we remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a prayer attributed to St. Oscar Romero of El Salvador, who was just canonized a few weeks ago. It helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is even beyond our vision. What we accomplish in our lifetime is only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. No statement says all that could be said. No prayer fully expresses our faith. No confession brings perfection. No pastoral visit wholeness. No progress accomplishes the church's mission. No set of goals or objectives includes everything. This is what we are about. We plant seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will lead further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something, and do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for God's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own. May the blessing of Emmanuel, who is God with us, now and forever, come upon you, come upon this body, your families, our city, and the world. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend, thank you so much. I want to thank Reverend Brian for that invocation. The clerk will call the roll of the members.
President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Sneed, Clark. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. This evening, we welcome Dr. Hood Mincy, the founder and director of the Singing Sensations Youth Choir. Let's give her your attention.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Holly Hood Mincy. I'm the founder and director of the Singing Sensations. I'm also a vocal music teacher in Baltimore City Public Schools. 15 years ago, the Singing Sensations Youth Choir was founded as a means of providing performing art opportunities for at-risk and underprivileged students in Baltimore City. Baltimore has earned a negative nationwide reputation based on a number of events that have transpired over the most recent years. Despite the origin of these unpleasant events, this stigma is forced down to our youth to have to bear. Our organization has collectively decided to instill in our children that they are not the product of their environment, but destined to rise above the stigma and to continue in the excellence through the arts. The Singing Sensations Youth Choir is a nonprofit organization servicing children from kindergarten to 12th grade. Approximately 80% of our students are considered underprivileged by federal standards. Many of our students come from single-parent homes. Despite these challenges, our children in the performing arts ensemble have managed to rise above their personal struggles by excelling academically, socially, and artistically. Our choristers have demonstrated extraordinary talents and gifts in the arts. However, most of our students would not have the opportunity to showcase their talents at this professional level outside of the Singing Sensations. The choir has had the opportunity to travel some exciting places like Canada, the Bahamas, Trinidad, Spain, and most recently, they were asked to sing at Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday celebration in South Africa. The date of this international travel has solely been funded by the participants' fundraisers. On that note, we have sung at many city events for the city, for City Hall. We are asking to become partners with Baltimore City, making our students ambassadors for Baltimore City as we continue to travel internationally and nationally throughout the world.
Good evening. My name is Jovan Lewis, and I'm a parent with the Singing Sensations Youth Choir. My children have been in the choir for 4 years. The choir has helped them as well in their performing arts skills as well as in their academics. Without the choir, my children would be another statistic in Baltimore City. With the way of gun violence, and there are not too many things for our children to do, it would be great if the city would actually partner with the Singing Sensations Youth Choir so that we can save our children's lives and decrease the violence in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's give them a hand. That's a great job. And thank you for having the youth represent Baltimore at the various locations I've seen where they have been to the Bahamas, they've been to Spain, Trinidad, South Africa, and Canada. And to date, their travel has been solely funded by participant fundraisers. So there's a thing called the Youth Fund, and you all need to go on that website and look at it and see if you could apply to help get some funds to send those children and keep them singing, representing Baltimore. So again, we thank you for the work you're doing. It is the council custom to journalize invocation. I ask for a motion, journalize the prayer. Motion by Councilman Henry, second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of journalize the invocation say aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We'll now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal of the proceedings from the October 15th City Council meeting is on council members' desks.
Is there a motion to approve the journal? Motion by Councilman Scott, second by Councilman Pinkett. All those in favor of adopting the journal say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried and the journal is adopted. Executive appointments. Executive nomination.
EA 18-0187, Sean C. Bloodsworth, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 11.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0188, Angela Burnett, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 4.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0189, Jeanette L. Cole, Esquire, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 11.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0190, Glenda Curtis, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 2.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0191, Jason Jonas Hard, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 4.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0192, Reverend Brenda D. White, Member, Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, District 8.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0193, Donna D. Brown, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 7.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0194, Aaron E. Bryant, Member, Public Art Commission, District 6.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0195, Kurt Shannon Butts, Member, Public Art Commission, District 2.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0196, Alma Roberts, Member, Public Art Commission, District 5.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee. Bills to be introduced.
City Council Bill 18-0298, franchise 26-inch OHP gas main granite pipeline through the lands of the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore. For the purpose of granting a franchise 50 feet wide to the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company to construct, use, and maintain a new 26-inch OHP gas main and to decommission and maintain an existing 26-inch OHP gas main, both running through Gwynns Falls Lincoln Park, owned by the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore, located in Baltimore City, Maryland, subject to certain terms, conditions, and reservations, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsors, City Council President on behalf of the administration.
This has been assigned to the Housing and Urban Affairs Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0299, rezoning 2501 through 2513, 2515, and 2525 West Franklin Street and 330 North Warwick Avenue. For the purpose of changing the zoning for the property known as 2501 through 2513 West Franklin Street as outlined in green on the accompanying plat from the C2 zoning district to the C3 zoning district, and changing the zoning for the properties known as 2515 and 2525 West Franklin Street and 330 North Warwick Avenue. as outlined in blue on the accompanying plan from the I-1 zoning district to the C3 zoning district. Sponsors Bullock.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0300, rezoning 1600 West 41st Street and Block 3575C, Lot 374. For the purpose of changing the zoning for the property known as 1600 West 41st Street, as outlined in red on the accompanying plat from the I2 zoning district to the IMU zoning district, and for the property known as Block 3575C, Lot 374, as outlined in blue on the accompanying plat from the R6 zoning district to the IMU zoning district. Sponsors Pinkett.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0301, rezoning 6435 Pulaski Highway. For the purpose of changing the zoning for the property known as 6435 Pulaski Highway, as outlined in blue on the accompanying plat from the I2 zoning district to the C4 zoning district. Sponsors Scott.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0302, late night commercial operations licensing. For the purpose of deleting an exception for the sale of motor vehicle fuels, authorizing the issuance of a conditional license for certain delivery services, and generally related to the licensing of late night commercial operations. Sponsors Henry, Clark, Middleton, Scott, Costello, Pinkett, Cohen, Dorsey, Sneed, Reisinger.
Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we discussed earlier today, the late night commercial late night commercial operations licensure program exists originally as a tool for communities and the police department to use to bring businesses to the table with communities when there are problems that are happening after hours. And for the purposes of the program, after hours is between midnight and 5 a.m. Now, I have had police officers tell me flatly, nothing good in Baltimore happens in some parts of town after midnight. And so, and we have had multiple conversations and discussions in these chambers about the amount of overtime that the police department uses. And I know for a fact that in parts of my district, a lot of that overtime is going to provide specific police presence in areas that have been identified as problem areas on the late shift. With all that as the background, one of the good things that came out of this program is a community association sat down with a business that was creating problems at night and worked out an arrangement under which they're going to be able to lock their doors and close their business to walk-in customers and eliminate the need for people to be on the street around their business after midnight, but they're going to continue to do delivery out of the back door for continued number of hours. And as a result, the community is going to be okay with that. The police are okay with that, but we needed to make a tweak to the law in order to make that kind of license allowable. And that is the first thing that this bill does. The other thing, however, which appears to be getting more interest, is it also removes the exemption in the law for gas stations. And when the law was originally passed, we had allowed gas stations to continue to sell gas from midnight to 5 a.m. without having to get a license. But what we have learned over the years of the police trying to enforce this law is that because so many gas stations have adjacent or accessory convenience stores, and people have to go into the store in order to pay for the gas, it makes it difficult for the police to be able to tell whether these stores are actually open or not when they don't have a license to be. And so I want to thank my co-sponsors. I want to thank the committee chair for agreeing to try to expedite the hearing on this, and we can have a discussion on whether or not this is going to be seen as a worthwhile way to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Judiciary Legislative Investigation Committee. Resolutions introduced.
City Council Resolution 18-0113R, informational hearing hiring for the Jewett Lake and Ashburton Reservoir projects. For the purpose of requesting that the Director of the Department of Public Works, the head of the Minority and Women's Business Opportunity Office, and representatives from Oscar Renda Contracting appear before the City Council to discuss the utilization of minority business enterprises, women's business enterprises, and local skilled and unskilled labor for the Jewett Lake and Ashburton Reservoir projects. Sponsors Pinkett, Stokes, President Young, Henry, Middleton, Schleifer, Cohen, Costello, Scott, Dorsey, Sneed, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Burnett as a co-sponsor. Chair recognizes Councilman Pinkett.
Thank you, Mr. President. These two projects alone total approximately $300 million in public investment. To give a point of reference, the Exelon building in Harbor Point was about a $300 million development. And so while the improvement in our water infrastructure is the major focus, there should be some residual benefits to the community in the form of opportunities for MB, WBE, and the creation of jobs for Baltimoreans. And let me stress, jobs for Baltimoreans. It's critical for the future of the city for minority firms and our local residents to benefit from all projects, but especially those in which there are public dollars. This resolution requires DPW and the contractor to come before the council and update us on the progress in achieving those goals. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee.
City Council Resolution 18-0114R, supporting a national agenda for U.S. housing investment and opportunity. For the purpose of urging the President and Congress to work with city leaders nationwide to end homelessness and to ensure that the lowest income and most vulnerable households have the opportunity for safe, decent, affordable housing. Sponsors Scott, President Young, Henry, Middleton, Schleifer, Pinkett, Cohen, Dorsey, Sneed, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Burnett as a co-sponsor, Councilman Stokes, and Councilman Bullock, co-sponsor. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members of the council, as stated earlier, this is a resolution coming from my work and the President's work with the National League of Cities. There is an irreplaceable role for the federal government when it comes to the housing of Americans. Every American deserves a decent home and a suitable living environment with adequate financial stability to maintain it. But for decades, the federal government has shirked that responsibility. They have had no action, serious action in the way of housing. And we know what stable housing means to so many Americans. We know that it means better neighborhoods. We know that it means safer neighborhoods. We know that it means better education for people across the nation. So what we are doing at the National League of Cities is asking cities across the country, starting here, first in Baltimore, and then going from out there, to everyone to pass this resolution so that we can work with our congressional delegations and hopefully the President of the United States to actually get serious about housing from a federal level, because we've had great work here at the local level led by Councilman Bullock and the Council President and Mayor Pugh. We know that only when the federal government gets serious about helping its cities across the country will we see a serious change. And with that, Mr. President, I'd like to move for suspension of appropriate rules for immediate adoption.
Councilman, before we do that, please note Councilman Costello is a co-sponsor. Okay, second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of suspending the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Mr. President, I move the resolution.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of adopting resolution 18-0114R, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is carried. This resolution is adopted.
City Council Resolution 18-0115R, recognizing October 29 as World Stroke Day. For the purpose of recognizing that October 29 is World Stroke Day, that 1 in 6 people will have a stroke during their lifetime, that fast can be used to remember the symptoms of a stroke, and that people can take certain steps to reduce their stroke risk, and that stroke victims should pursue rehabilitation. Sponsors President Young, Henry, Middleton, Schleifer, Scott, Pinkett, Sneed, Cohen, Dorsey, Clark, Reisinger.
Please note Councilman Costello, Councilman Burnett, and Councilman Bullock as co-sponsors, Councilman Stokes. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
I move for immediate adoption.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor, we got to suspend the rules. Suspend the rules. The rules suspended by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of suspending the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton to move the bill.
I move the bill.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of adopting resolution 18-0115R, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted. You can find the consent count in Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent count? Moved by Councilman Scott, second by Councilman Pinkett. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried, and this calendar is approved. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
I move to extend floor privileges for a special guest from Clean the City.
Second by Councilman Reisinger. All those in favor of extending floor privileges to our guests say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried, and the guests may take the floor. But as they are coming, it's my pleasure to highlight a group that has been doing great work in our city. The name of the group is Clean the City, which was organized by Lisa Moloch. The group began in July, spending each Saturday going to different neighborhoods throughout Baltimore to plant flowers, sweep gutters, and pick up trash and organize community cleanups. They've cleaned communities from Walbrook Junction to Bel Air Edison and many places in between. I'm so appreciative of a group like this who truly values our community and the health of our neighborhoods and genuinely wants to see Baltimore thrive. A clean city helps all of our well-being, and I hope that others are inspired by their action and get out and serve the community we live in. I would like to honor them for all of their hard work and show them that the City Council is grateful for everything that they have done so far. So let's give them a hand. And this is not all of them, and they do this on their own. They did not contact the city for anything. They got out there, they buy the flowers and everything with their own money, and they're really doing a great job. I seen one of the videos where I know one time when I worked for the Department of Public Works, we had to get the grass from the cracks in the pavement, and we had to do it at the edge of the gutter. This is the work that they have done, and they have done a fantastic job. And I know that I appreciate them, and I know that the council members appreciate you as well. We have some resolutions that we're going to present to them, but before I do that, I would like to have Ms. Moloch to talk just briefly about what they do and how they started.
How
And
y'all
what
doing?
motivated them to do this.
I'm sorry.
It's on.
Oh, thank you so much, President Young. We really appreciate that. And the first thing that needs to change is just behavior. So we just try to encourage people. We collaborate with like community leaders, and we go out, we take out supplies, we buy flowers, we do fundraisers to purchase flowers and things, so we can try to encourage the community to just work together. Like we can buy 1 million trash cans, we can do a lot of things, but if the behavior don't change, you know, the city, the rat infestation and everything else is going to continue to be bad. So we just all come together every Saturday, and we just go out and we clean different communities. Even if we can't get with the community leaders, we just do it on our own. We pick up trash, we clean out the gutters, and then we plant beautiful flowers to try to encourage the community not to litter. So we go back, and some of the flowers still be there, and we go to water them, I mean, you know, to feed them, and they still be there, and actually it doesn't be as much trash as it was before we cleaned out. So we figured that it is working. So we just continue to do that, guys. And we thank y'all.
The resolutions? The City Council of Baltimore resolution be it hereby known to all that the City Council of Baltimore offers the sincerest congratulations to Mary Harris in recognition of your participation with Clean the City and your many cleanups efforts in the City of Baltimore. Thank you for your contribution to the beautification of our great city. The town membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion. Direct this resolution be presented on this 29th day of October, Resolution 1873. Council President Young and all members. Erin Macklin. Oh, wow. I seen her on the video. Tanika Davis. Okay. Devin Jones. DeAllen Jones Jr. Winter Martin. Denasia Burgess. Okay. Antoinette Robinson. Okay. Shaquan Rice. Jaquan Douglas. Did I say your name right? Yes. Okay. Shalia Johnson. Okay. Did I miss you?
Oh, no, she just started.
Okay.
So she's the mother of the.
All right. Thank you so much for all that you do. And let's give them another hand. Did the council members?
Congratulations.
I feel that way sometimes.
Thank you, sir.
Let's thank them again because I'm going to tell you what they did save the city a lot of money. Okay, we'll now move to bills on the second reader, Budget and Appropriation Committee. Oh, Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Mr. President, I make a motion to read short titles for the remainder of the meeting.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor, short title for the remainder of the hearing, say aye. Those opposed, nay. Short titles for the remainder of the meeting. Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0265, Supplementary General Fund, Operating Appropriation, Police Department, $21 million.
Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee held a hearing on this bill this past Thursday, and I move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All in favor of amending this bill, say aye. Those opposed, say nay. Please note that Councilman Dorsey is a nay. Councilman Cohen is a nay. Councilman Burnett is a nay. Councilman Scott is a nay. Councilman Sneed is a nay. Bill still passes. This bill moves to third reader. Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 18-0152, Brittany Harris, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 12.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee held hearings on October the 17th and the 24th of 2018. I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Council Vice President Middleton. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. All opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0153, Brina I. Bolden, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 6.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Council Vice President Middleton. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0154, Karen Y. Bond, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 14.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0157, Pamela Curtis, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 6.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Council Vice President Middleton. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0158, Etna Lawrence Williams, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 11.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0160, Kalia Harris, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 14.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of confirming this nominee, say aye. Those opposed, nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0162, Michael Hunter, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 7.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Pinkett. All those in favor of moving this nomination say aye. Confirm this nomination say aye. Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0163, Angela D. Laparde Neal, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 13.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Sneed. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0164, Gloria E. Luckett, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women.
Second by Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Council Vice President Middleton. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0166, Michelle McNeil Emery, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women.
Chair recognizes Councilman
I
Stokes.
move the nomination favorable.
Second by Council Vice President Middleton. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0167, Veronica Owens, Member, Baltimore City Commission for Women, District 7.
Chair recognizes Councilman
I move the
Stokes.
nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Pinkett. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye. Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0170, Patrick Lundberg, Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials, District 1.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Cohen. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0171, Alexander Smith, Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials, District 1.
Chair recognizes Councilman
I
Stokes.
move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Cohen. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye. Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0172, Thurman Zollikofer, Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Vice President Middleton. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0173, Vernon Andrew Reed Jr., Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials, District 8.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Burnett. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye. Those opposed nay. The nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0174, Claire Zamonsky Siegel, Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials, District 14.
Chair recognizes Councilman
Move the
Stokes.
nomination favorable.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0175, Kenneth P. Taylor Sr., Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials, District 6.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Move the nomination favorable.
Second by Vice President Middleton. All those in favor of confirming this nominee say aye. Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed.
EA 18-0176, Charles G. Tilden III, Member, Compensation Committee for Elected Officials, District 5.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
I move the nomination favorable.
Second by Councilman Schleifer. All those in favor confirm this nominee say aye. Those opposed nay. This nomination is confirmed. Housing and Urban Affairs Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0174, City Streets Closing, Brunt Court, and certain alleys bounded by Robert Street, Division Street, Wilson Street, and Brunt Street.
Chair recognizes Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Housing and Urban Affairs Committee met on October 23rd to consider 4 street closings. We'll be moving them all favorable without amendments. Mr. President, I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 18-0175, City Streets Closing, all streets and alleys bounded by East Biddle Street, Greenmount Avenue, East Chase Street, and Falls Way.
Chair recognizes Councilman Bullock.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 18-0198, City Streets Closing, Denmore Avenue, and certain alleys lying between West Garrison Avenue, Park Heights Avenue, Woodland Avenue, and Edgemere Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Bullock.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilman Schleifer. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 18-0227, City Streets Closing, Wilcox Street, and 5 alleys bounded by East Chase Street, Enzer Street, East Eager Street, and Valley Street.
Chair recognizes Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorably.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Labor Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0276, Lactation Accommodations in the Workplace.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Snead.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a hearing on the bill for October 17, 2018, and we moved all the committee amendments.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The bill is amended. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Snead.
Mr. President, I have floor amendments on the members' desk, and I move all the amendments forward.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the floor amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill is amended. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Snead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill favorably as amended.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Land use and transportation.
City Council Bill 18-0203, zoning conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 3 dwelling units in the R7 zoning district. Variances 301 East 28th Street.
Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
President, I move the finding of facts on this bill.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The finding of facts are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, this bill has amendments. It's on my colleague's desk. I move the amendments.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving these amendments say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The bill is amended. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 18-0257, zoning conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 4 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district. Variances 310 East Lanville Street.
Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the finding of facts.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The finding of facts is adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman
This
Reisinger.
bill has amendments. I move the amendments.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving these amendments say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The bill is amended. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 18-0258, zoning conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 2 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district. Variance 417 East Lafayette Avenue.
Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the finding of facts.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. The finding of facts are adopted. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader.
City Council Bill 18-0273, repeal of ordinance 11-562-6709, Pulaski Highway Plan Unit Development.
Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee.
City Council Bill 18-0189, short-term residential rentals, regulation and taxation.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a citywide bill that, and the committee heard this bill on July 19th, 2018. There were 2 work sessions held for this bill, one on September 13, 2018, and the other one was October 25th. On 2018, the committee approved the bill as favorable and offered a package of amendments. The amendments are on council members' desks. I move the committee amendments.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving these amendments say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion approved. This bill is amended. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton. Oh, Chair. No, please note Councilman Henry is a no. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
I move the bill.
Murray Pat have to abstain. And Councilwoman Snead have to abstain.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. This bill moves to third reader. Please note Councilman Henry is a nay. Councilman Cohen is a nay. Schleifer is a nay. Bill passes. I already said that you and Shannon was, yeah. All right, go ahead.
City Council Bill 18-0254, property tax credit, school public safety officers.
Chair recognizes Council Vice President Middleton. Chair recognizes Council Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is another citywide bill. The committee held a hearing for this bill on October 25th. The committee approved the bill as favorable. I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Costello. All in favor of approving these amendments say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill is amended. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Costello. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. All those in favor of approving. We have to move the amendments.
There's no amendments on this second.
Okay. All right. All in favor of approving this bill, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion to approve this bill moves to third reader. Please note that Councilman Dorsey is a no. Third reader for final passage.
City Council Bill 17-0102, Complete Streets, President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
Before we approve this bill, I want to recognize the sponsor, Councilman Dorsey.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Again, I just really want to thank you for your leadership on this, for supporting the negotiations with the administration, the Department of Transportation, dedicating your staff. Kara Kunst, who has moved on to another job since, began this project with us a long time ago, and Michael Huber did an outstanding job seeing us through the negotiation. Thank you so much, Michael. I also want to recognize Councilman Pinkett for all his work in the meetings with DOT and the administration. Councilman Reisinger for holding hearings and just pushing us to negotiate as well as we could so that we could have expedient work sessions on the bill. And Jennifer Coates, the staff to the committee, so much work. Thank you so much for putting together like the biggest bill file I've ever seen. And our coalition. I'm just going to ask these people to stand up real quick with all these amazing shirts on. We gave one to the council president at the last meeting. We have an amazing, amazing coalition of support for this bill. And almost a year and a half ago, in July of 2017, when I introduced this bill, Councilman Schleifer said to me, "Hey, I just bought this tie, and I'm gonna wear it on the night that you get this bill through the council." So I do have to acknowledge Councilman Schleifer for wearing his bicycle tie this evening. He said he's gonna give it to me later because he doesn't think I own any ties.
I'll help buy you some.
Bicycle ties for everybody on the council president. I just really want to say how thankful I am for everybody's work on this bill to improve transportation, mode diversity and access for people in a more equitable fashion throughout the city, which is one of the kind of the two main points, is just pushing DOT to always be proactively planning to do the right thing, to move the city in the right direction. And the other part about this is empowering communities in our city to be able to advocate and demand the absolute best in healthy and safe transportation options in their communities and connecting their communities to things where we know so many communities in this city lack certain opportunities, and people absolutely have to be able to get where they need to go, and that this is a primary determinant of people's opportunity to rise out of poverty and experience everything that we have to offer and everything that we strive to have. So I thank everybody so much for their support on this. It's been a lot of work, so thank you. Thank you, Mr. Council President.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 17-0122, rezoning 1 North Haven Street. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0197, sale of property, 1215 West Lafayette Avenue, Block 0090, portion of Lot 011A. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0221, recordation and transfer taxes, surtax, dedicating surtax proceeds to Affordable Housing Trust Fund. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0226, sale of property. City Council Bill 18-0226, sale of property, former beds of Eastbourne Avenue and a portion of Savage Street. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0232, diaper changing amenity. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0242, Urban Renewal, Broadway East Amendment. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0243, Urban Renewal, Poppleton Amendment. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0246, Urban Renewal, Coldstream Homestead, Montebello Amendment. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0247, Urban Renewal, Johnston Square Amendment. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0248, Urban Renewal, Middle East Amendment. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0249, Sale of Property, 222 West Reed Street. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0250, Sale of Property, 2200 Sinclair Lane. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0252, Urban Renewal, York Woodburn Business Area Amendment. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0256, Zoning Conditional Use Conversion of a Single-Family Dwelling Unit to 3 dwelling units in the R8 Zoning District, variances 1747 East Lombard Street. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved.
City Council Bill 18-0275, Unidentifiable Vehicles, Immediate Towing. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Need, Clark.
This bill is approved. Committee announcement. Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilman Bullock. All those in favor of suspending rules to announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chair recognizes Councilman.
JLI will hold a hearing on Tuesday, November 27th at 10 a.m. on Bill 18-0302, late night commercial operations licensing at the request of Councilman Henry. JLI will hold a hearing on Tuesday, November 20th. All of these are on Tuesday, November 27th at 10:15 a.m. on Bill 18-0296, Licensing and Regulation, National Human Trafficking Resource Center Hotline, Information Sign Posting at the request of Councilman Burnett. JLI will hold a hearing that same day at 10:30 a.m. on Bill 18-0107R, Investigative Hearing, Arson and Fire Fatality Awareness, Community Risk Reduction Program at the request of Vice President Middleton. On that same day at 11 a.m. on Bill 18-011. Oh, pardon me. I move to suspend rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of suspending rules to announce a hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. You can, Councilman Costello, you can.
JLI will hold a hearing on Tuesday, November 27th at 11 a.m. On Bill 18-0113R, informational hearing, hiring for the Druid Lake and Ashburton Reservoir projects at the request of Councilman Pinkett. On that same day at 11:30 a.m., hearing on 18-0111R, informational hearing, Baltimore Metropolitan Drinking Supply at the request of Councilman Dorsey. The Budget and Appropriations Committee will hold a hearing on Thursday, November 15th at 3 p.m. This is on 17-0003R, quarterly budget briefings with Bureau of Budget and Management Research. As a reminder to everyone, the hearing we held last week was closeout for quarter 4 of fiscal 18. This is for the end of quarter 1 of fiscal 19. And also on that day at 4 p.m., 17-0004R, budget oversight hearings for Baltimore City Public Schools, also for quarter 1 of fiscal 19. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Executive Appointments Committee will hold a hearing on Wednesday, November the 7th at 10 a.m. for the Adult Public Guardianship Review Board for Angela Burnett, Jeanette Cole, Brenda White. That same day for Baltimore City Commission for Women is Donna Brown. Actually, this same day also, Public Art Commission, and it's Alma Roberts. The Executive Department will hold a hearing on Wednesday, November the 14th at 10 a.m. for Adult Public Guardianship Review Board for Sean Bloodsworth, Belinda Curtis, Jason Hart, and for the Public Art Commission, Aaron Bright and Kirk Shannon Butts.
Chair recognizes Councilman Bullock.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to suspend Rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce a hearing on the same day the bill is introduced.
Second by Councilman Reisinger. All those in favor of suspend the rules to announce a hearing, say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion is carried. You can make your announcement.
All right, so on Tuesday, November 23rd at 3:45 p.m., the Housing and Urban Affairs Committee will be hearing City Council Bill 180298, franchise OHP gas main granite pipeline through the lands of the mayor and the City Council of Baltimore. On Tuesday, November 27th at 2 p.m., we'll be hearing City Council Bill 180278, ordinance City Streets opening Dillon Street. Oh, the previous one was November 13th, just to be sure. So that was Tuesday, November 13th at 3:45. The next one, again, is Tuesday, November 27th at 2:05 p.m., and that's ordinance City Streets closing Dillon Street. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Reisinger.
Mr. President, members of the council, the Land Use and Transportation Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 18-0272 on November the 14th at 1:10 p.m. in the council chambers. This is zoning sign regulations for the purpose of repealing and replacing Title 17 signs of the zoning code of Baltimore City to create a new method for the classification and review of signs. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chair, Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on November the 20th at 4 p.m., the Council Public Safety Committee will reconvene a hearing for Resolution -18-0060R, multi-year coordinated comprehensive multi-agency violence reduction strategy. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee will hear City Council Bill 180293 Thursday, November 8th, 2018, 10 a.m. here in Council Chambers. I move to suspend rules 10.2 and 10.3 to announce this hearing.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor suspend the rules to announce the hearing, say aye. All opposed, nay. Council Vice President Middleton.
And again, it is Bill 180293, Baltimore Tourism Improvement District Establishment, and this bill was introduced on October 15th, 2018.
Any more committee announcements?
One more. Taxation, Finance, Economic Development will hear City Council Bill 180238, also Thursday, November 18th, 2018, 10:05 a.m. here in Council Chambers. November 8th, did I say something else? Sorry. Thursday, November 8th, 2018, here in Council Chambers at 10:05 a.m. And it's the Baltimore City Parking Authority contracts. And again, this was introduced on October 15th.
Thank you. Regular announcement. First, I'd like to say happy birthday to Councilman Dorsey, whose birthday is November the 12th. Is the Glee Club ready? The Happy Birthday Club ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Councilman Dorsey. Happy birthday to you. Now, the mayor can get y'all to sing, and I can't. What's wrong with that picture? All right. I would like to welcome our new pages, Morris Turner from C School and Maggie Stoudemire from City College. Please welcome back Bill Rogers, who is returning as a page, and please welcome them to City Hall. Madam President, I know that some of our colleagues here would address this further. However, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for the 11 Americans who were murdered in the Tree of Life Synagogue over the weekend. This council knows that an attack on any group is an attack on all of us. We must stand up against all form of hatred, whether directed at Jews, African Americans, trans men and women, Central Americans, or anyone else. Madam Vice President, I would also like to request a moment of silence for a member of the council's family, Dr. Kenneth P. Simmons. Our General Counsel, Rebecca Tabb Simmons, lost her husband recently, and we should honor his memory. Dr. Simmons was the co-owner of Mumby and Simmons, one of Maryland's largest African-American businesses, providing quality dental service to thousands of city residents. Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, please pardon my lack of brevity. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Peter Auchincloss of Dickeyville, who passed away on October 17, 2018. Peter was a dear friend of mine. He was caring, kind, funny, and sharp-witted. He was a guy who always brought a smile to my face and the faces of so many others. He was insanely loyal and selfless. He was a businessman who threw himself into the civic life of Baltimore with gusto. He was a great convener, someone who had the rarest of abilities to bring any group of people together, no matter how far apart they are. It took a whole lot of energy to keep up with him, and I can assure you, if you didn't know him, he was truly one of a kind. Peter was a past president of the Dickeyville Community Association for over a decade, a member of the Board of Trustees of Living Classrooms Foundation, and a donor to the William S. Bear School in West Baltimore, for which a memorial fund, Gab for Bear, has been established there in his name. He became active in the industrial water purification and treatment business, going on to hold 4 patents, 2 trademarks, and a copyright in that field. Mayor William Donald Schaefer first tapped Peter to sit on the city's planning commission, and he then became chair in 1996, a post he held for over 12 years. In 2010, he became chairman of the Parking Authority of Baltimore City, holding that post until 2017. A 2007 Baltimore Sun article described how Mr. Auchincloss eked out a compromise between the Seton Hill Association and BGE, which had planned a brick-walled substation in the historic community. The article said Mr. Auchincloss issued everyone an ultimatum. The sparring parties had 1 month to find a mutually acceptable design. Quote, "If in a month people do not come in here hugging, kissing, and singing Kumbaya, then this chair will design the wall," he was quoted in the article. And believe me, I don't use a crayon real well. When a new plan for Seton Hill was approved, Mr. Auchincloss brought a compact disc player playing Kumbaya and a box of crayons. As our former colleague Bill Cole said, he had an unparalleled sense of humor that he used to bring disputing parties to the table. To Peter, it was an art form, and I watched him employ it many times. Peter is survived by his wife Lisa of 11 years, his daughters Sarah and Gabby, his mother Barbara, his brother Jeremy, and a granddaughter, as well as all of Dickeyville and Baltimore City. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to know Peter Auchincloss, everything that Eric said was so true about him. I served with him on the Parking Authority board, and I used to tell him, I said, look, man, you can't make decisions just you and the chairman. You got to wait and explain it to all of us. He said, well, you know, Councilman Young, you got a lot to do down City Hall, so let us take care of the business of the Parking Authority. And he was absolutely correct, because we couldn't be at every meeting that the chairman had with the director of the Parking Authority. And I would get mad with him, and you know, I'm leaving out, he'd grab me and say, Jack, we okay? And kiss me on the top of my head. So that was his way of showing that, you know, everything is okay, you know, and I'm gonna miss that, because, you know, sometimes when people are being real with you and telling you the truth, sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. And this guy actually made you hear the truth that he was sharing with you, because he was a major reason why the Parking Authority is as great and as good as it is, because of his leadership as chairman of that board. Also, he was on the planning board, and this guy was just a super guy. And he gave his life to trying to make Baltimore City a better place for all of us to live. So, Madam Vice President, as you do your moment of silence, please add that, because this man truly embodied what Baltimore City is all about, giving back and making sure that he give back in a way that contributed to the growth of this city. So, I mean, I can go on and on about this guy. This guy was just a super person, and he thought about others before he thought about himself. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes. He wants to, y'all want to speak to Peter first? Okay, we're waiting, we'll come back to you. Go ahead. No, he's speaking about someone else. Councilman Stokes. Councilman Stokes.
I just want to do a moment of silence for Nick at Captain James. I don't know if you knew Nick. Nick was the Captain James, the boat down on Boston Street, and he passed away. But he actually brought his whole family here from Greece. I mean, his sisters, his brothers, everybody. And I always used to ask Nick, he's in the paper, he talked about he painted the Chesapeake Bay, and he always say by the time he finished, he had to do it again. So his money just kept rolling in, painting that Chesapeake Bay. But he was a great guy here in Baltimore and did a lot, and he just passed away. So I just want to do a moment of silence for Nick. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And that was another great person. Him and his brothers and all of them, they built that ship where the restaurant is. They did it themselves, and they were also giving back to the city in many, many ways. So I want to offer my condolences to that family as well. These are just great people who have really tried to make a difference. I remember a couple times I was in there, and a couple people didn't even have enough money to pay for their meal that they got. Oh, don't worry about it. Go ahead. You know, I mean, he was just so unselfish that he took care of people. You know, he would give them extra stuff. If you knew there was a birthday and he knew about it, somebody told him, dessert was free, and he didn't just give it to them; he gave it to the whole party. So these are some people who have passed away that have really made a great impact on the city of Baltimore. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to echo the sentiments of all three of you, Councilman Costello, Councilman Stokes, and yourself, about those individuals who were also great friends of mine, and Peter in particular. My everlasting memory of Peter will be a few years ago when Earth, Wind, and Fire came to the Meriwether Pavilion, and Peter literally danced through the aisles the whole concert. And I know that everyone on our row was so annoyed that they couldn't see the concert or sit down. But I just got a kick out of it because, like, he was literally going over there, grabbing guys' wives, asking them to dance, and he just seemed to be such in his element. But if you knew Peter, you knew that that was him. He just wanted everyone to have a good time, everyone to, for at least while you're in his presence, forget about everything else that was going on in your life. So he would be dearly missed. And also, Mr. President, members of the council, I rise to ask that Councilwoman Middleton honor a moment of silence for the 258 victims of homicide that we lost in the city of Baltimore and their families, and those who we lost to the continuing fight in the opioid epidemic as well.
Thank you, Councilman. Check recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also rise to ask for a moment of silence for Eileen Gwynn. She's a resident of the 4th District. Earlier this month, she lost a lengthy battle with colon cancer. Eileen had been incredibly devout community activist. She had served as both president of the Lake Walker Community Association and the York Road Partnership. As anyone who has worked with either of those groups knows, taking on either is its own challenge, and being willing to do both in succession shows a real commitment to making their community better. And so we already miss her, and we look forward to seeing her honored by this moment of silence tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman, recognize Councilman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your previous words in support of the community. I can't sit by and watch my people get slaughtered. Forget your optics, I'm going in, wrote Robert Bowers on the social media site Gab just hours before committing the deadliest act of domestic terrorism against Jewish Americans in our nation's history. In total, Bowers slaughtered 11 people at the Tree of Life Congregation Synagogue in Pittsburgh, and injured several more. His primary target was HIAS, a Jewish nonprofit that supports refugees in America. In a previous post, he had written, "It's the filthy, evil Jews bringing filthy, evil Muslims into the country." The death of these 11 Jewish Americans in a synagogue on the Sabbath is the logical conclusion of a rhetoric that permeates our political discourse and festers online. It is deployed against Muslims, refugees, immigrants, women, LGBTQ Americans, people of color, and Jews. It is wielded by craven profiteers in online forums, on the radio, on TV, and in the halls of power in Washington, D.C. Its goal is to divide, devalue, and dehumanize, to create an us and an ever-expanding them. It is the normalization of white supremacy and white nationalism. The dog whistle has become a bullhorn, and people like Robert Bowers are listening. And I just want to say, as one of the 2 Jewish members of this council, that we will not be afraid, and we will continue to do the work for Baltimore despite this act of terrorism. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more on the side? Chair recognizes Councilman Burnett.
And second, everything that's been said about the acts of violence in Pittsburgh, and definitely Peter Auchincloss. I'll say having someone like that in your district is pretty intimidating. And you know, when I first met him, I felt like he absolutely had everybody's cell phone number in City Hall, in Annapolis, and in Dickeyville, and I know he did.
Me.
And I was, you know, it was very intimidating at first to see, you know, his knowledge of the city, but inspiring his passion for Baltimore and for his family. And so it was very, very difficult when I got the news as well. I didn't know him as long as all of you did, but we built a great relationship. And what really stood out was his willingness to mentor me and show me the ropes. You know, sometimes people get frustrated with when you're new and you're trying to figure it all out. And he had tremendous amount of patience with the learning curve that I had in the beginning. And then as we continued to work together, had a great working relationship, and shared that passion for Baltimore together. So it's a huge loss for the city, huge loss for my district, and definitely prayers to his family and friends.
And thank you. And Madam Vice President, if you can put DeVere McClary, DeVere McClary. She passed away. She was a neighbor, and she passed away suddenly. Chair recognizes Vice President. Did you have anything, Councilwoman Clark? I was going to close out.
I just want to pick up on, I want to say this about the slaughter of the 11 that we all watched and endured. And I'm thinking to myself about elections coming up and about our responsibilities and duties, so we never have to have someone write a poem that ends with, and then there was no one left but me. It is a grave sign. We should take a heed, and we should go out and express ourselves in this democracy, which we hold to be a place of equality, freedom, liberation for all. And we have now, and throughout this year, been warned. And then there was no one left but me. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
The next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, November 19th, 2018 at 5 p.m. And may we have a moment of silence for the 11 Americans who were murdered in the Tree of Life Synagogue over the weekend. Also for the family of Peter Auchincloss, Elaine Gwynn, Nicholas Circus, and Vera McClary, and also for the continued families of the victims of the opioid epidemic, and also the 258 victims of homicide.
Thank you. There being no further business, this concludes the 44th meeting of the 72nd term of the Baltimore City Council. Good night.